All in favor?
Aye.
No student board members. On actions taken in closed session, on student expulsion hearing 23, action for consideration of violation of Education Code 48900C to expel the student and suspend the expulsion order. I'll make that motion.
So, second.
Motion by Gutierrez, seconded by Ms. Lett. All in favor?
Aye.
3, 2. Student expulsion hearing 23, action for consideration of violation of Education Code 48900C to expel the student and suspend the expulsion order. Make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Gutierrez, seconded by Ms. Lett. All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. Procedural issues. Recording of this meeting is being made and shall be kept for 30 days as public record. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Patrick, would you lead us, please?
Ready to begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call. I am here. Ms. Lett is here. Sunny Hepburn is here. Jim Bender is absent. Renee Moore is absent. And Lexi is absent. I need a motion to approve the agenda.
Make a motion?
Motion by Hepburn, seconded by Ms. Lett. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 2 absent. RTA report.
Okay. All right. Well, first off, a big thanks to Barbara Gaines and the district for giving an additional $150 for each teacher to spend for our classrooms. Thank you. Next, believe it or not, the first semester is almost done. Thanks to all teachers for working so hard for each student that they see each day. And now for the tentative agreement. The RTA membership overwhelmingly voted to approve/ratify the tentative agreement. There were no votes against this by the members of RTA. And RTA is looking forward to the board's approval ratification of the TA. RTA looks forward to a unanimous vote of support from the board tonight. And approval of the tentative agreement that has been put before you, the board, on behalf of both the bargaining teams, will allow the district as a whole to move forward together in the area of negotiations for the next school year. RTA's bargaining team and association are looking forward to working with Superintendent Gaines and the district team and helping move our entire district forward with maintaining excellence for all students, teachers, and support staff. From me personally, a wonderful big thanks to the RTA bargaining team, which was Diana Greenberg, Keith Meyer, Kim Schmidt, and the leaders, Sherry Titus, Tammy Starkey, and of course, Troy at our CTA office. We thank the board for your time, consideration, and hopefully a yes vote. Thank you.
Do we have anybody from CSEA?
We're getting together.
I'm good. I'm on parent today. Nope.
No, so from Alexi didn't send an email in.
No, she didn't.
CDO, Mr. Irving.
All right. First of all, I want to thank transportation and the ag department at the high school for participating in the Roseman Christmas Parade. I saw pictures today of the bus and the vehicles that Ms. Cox used for transportation for ag. And looked very festive, looked very good. So good work on that. let's see, as of yesterday, mid-month payroll printed with the off schedule for classified employees that was negotiated back in August. So come Friday, that should be on, their pay stubs. Let's see, in the consent items, letter F is, I just wanted to point out, is a renewal of a contract that we currently have in place with the Head Start to provide food for them. So it's not anything new or added to the district. It's just an annual renewal of that contract. And that is it for me.
The superintendent of instruction and curriculum, Ms. Lacy is not here. Do we have any report from that department?
I do not.
Assistant Superintendent of Human Services.
Mrs. Hargis is also not here this evening, and the only report that we have for HR is the personnel schedule in the for HR.
Superintendent Gaines.
Okay, let's see. I've had a kind of a busy couple of days, so today let's start with last night. Last night I went to the band concert at Tropico Middle School, and there was, I think Mr. Bensalet would agree with me, huge turnout. It was like there was standing room only in the cafeteria, but better than even the turnout for me was the band too was phenomenal. I mean, they really put me in this Christmas spirit. And I was in the front row and I thought, oh, these parents behind me probably think I'm losing my mind, because I was moving about halfway through the band two's performance. But the band one fills the entire stage. And when we think back a few years to where Mr. Ferrandini was very fearful that his music program was going to die a natural death. And to see all those shining new instruments up there and the kids playing and the parents loving it, it was a wonderful evening. And I have to say, Mr. Ferrandini has to be one of the best music teachers I've ever had the privilege of seeing at a middle school. He's incredible. And so I really enjoyed that, and can't wait to see the next year, that first year group, when they make the second year group even bigger. So that was last night. And then today, I went at lunchtime, or a little bit before lunch, to the football field to watch the high school cadet corps do a change of command ceremony. And what I found very interesting about this was that in one cadet corps, it's really unique if you have one outstanding senior who is going to be your battalion commander. At Rosamond High, we had two. So instead of one person doing it for the whole year and leaving the other person out, what they did was they decided that one of them would be the battalion commander first semester and the other one the second semester. So today was the change of command ceremony, always facilitated by Captain Wallace, and Captain Cahill of the Cadet Corps at Tropico was also present, and some of the parents. It was a very special moment for me because my own dad served in the United States Navy. He was fought in World War II and was in the Pacific, and they honored him today, and that was very special for them to do that. So it was a great time for me. And what I learned was, I've been telling everybody that Tropico's Middle School has about 175 members in the Cadet Corps. Wrong. They have 227 Cadet Corps that are going to be feeding up to the high school in the very, very near future. So Wow, I was very excited to hear that. Also visited Roseman Elementary School today, went in and visited some classrooms and had the opportunity to check out the new library over there and saw a lot of great instruction going on at Roseman Elementary School, and the kids are so cute. We were kind of a large group, so they were just like watching us come in, like, what is going on here? But it was awesome, and I want to thank Mr. Adams and Mrs. Ament and all the staff and teachers for the welcoming visit. It was great to be on the campus. So I think one more thing. Today at the Cadet Corps change of command, a young freshman by the name of Amelia Bullock sang the national anthem a cappella, and I want to tell you, I think I'm gonna have her sing it everything we do, because she was phenomenal. I was like, oh, you just wait for them to, as the crescendo that their voice is gonna crack or something. Never happened. It was beautiful. So it was just a very proud moment for this lady. So thank you.
Now you have to do.
Oh, yeah, I have to do the attendance. That's not a good thing. Not a good thing. Well, every month we do the attendance. Today I'm presenting November's attendance. And every month I keep thinking, Dan, you gotta have this wrong. This can't be the case. Every school's attendance in the month of November went negative. Every school. And I know there is sickness out there. There is sickness out there among students, and I truly get it, and even some of our staff. But at this time, I'd like to present the best attendance elementary, even though they dipped a little bit, well, they dipped considerably. West Park Elementary, you still maintain it. And for best attendance, also dropped 2.15%, but still hanging in there, Roseman High School. Thank you. I don't have any most improved since we all dropped. So hopefully next month we will. Thank you.
For communication.
Me. Well, hello everybody. We've got a full house. Like when we were doing the Pledge of Allegiance, I really felt it in your voices. It's nice to see you guys all here. So I took notes this time. I'm getting better at taking notes. I was actually able to visit West Park Elementary School yesterday. Thank you, Dr. Bolton. She gave me the keys to the castle. I could get in all the classrooms. So it's just walking around. I walked around while the kids were on recess out to the track. I got to look in the kitchen, watch the kids eat, got to pop into some classes. And some of the classes were just like so put together, like Mrs. Ward's class, Laramie Ward. I popped into her class and the kids were just like engaging and answering questions, and they weren't rowdy, weren't bumptious. She was just running the show. I was like, all right, nice. And then I got to go to another class. It was a second grade class, and they were going to Sweden. So I was just walking by, and she's like, oh, welcome to Sweden. And I was like, okay, what's happening here? I want to go in here. So it's a great campus. I got to talk to her and figure out how I could be more of an advocate. I also enjoyed her email that came out on, it was November 21st, because I took notes. I said it was a great email, lots of updates on events, notification of clubs, and important information and dates. So it's good that you're communicating and letting everybody know what's happening and all the opportunities. The only thing I'm going to add is just add Fallon's email. When you're like, hey, reach out to Fallon for ACES, just drop her email in there so they're not calling me and say, what's Fallon? That was my only notes. Other than that, I had a nice time in San Diego learning about stuff. I'm thinking about growing lettuce. Getting a bus and growing lettuce for the kids. I don't know if it'll be that efficient, but we can talk about it. That's all I have.
Okay. Couple things is Mrs. Gaines said, I was at the concert last night. I'm gonna look forward to the next one next Tuesday. I plan on being there. Mr. Pandering is just fantastic. I've always known that for a long, long time. He really, really is, truly believe that he's one of the best middle school band directors in the state, if not in the nation. That's my own opinion. Thank you for everybody for coming out and those who are attending through Zoom or YouTube. And I too have noticed that we had a great sessions down in San Diego. We learned a lot. Murray and I got a chance to go to a couple classes together. We couldn't finish out one of them, but the idea of what was being presented transitioned to one of the reasons why we were in that class. We learned a lot with taking a class for board presidents. Had a great time with that. A lot of the instructors and the students there passed out some information and found out that a lot of the folks who are in my class, Department of Homeland Security has a whole lot of information on not just cybersecurity, but also on items. There's a pamphlet out. I've sent one to Mario because he's on the subcommittee. We plan on getting this out to all the school sites. And it's really, really, great at what we're doing. The issue we had with the active shooter, that was a good opportunity for Mr. Chevron, Mr. V to, kind of, brought up a soft lockdown. And then we found messages on that. I want to give you guys kudos for doing that because it was a good opportunity for, another exercise, but that's important. These are so important. And I too will start hitting a lot of the schools, come up to visit, see everybody. Other than that, I guess I'll turn it over to you.
First, I want to thank everybody for coming. It's nice to see people in the audience. We did have a lot of information. It was almost like information overload the last few days that we went down to San Diego. One of the things I do want to do tonight is, David, would you stand, please? This is our newest board member. She will be sworn in next week, and she will be joining us at the table. So,
Congratulations.
she was down in San Diego learning all kinds of things. Down there with us this week. I have kind of a serious thing I need to bring up. It has come to my attention from people in the community that possibly a board member does not live in our area. And so I have requested that, I'm going to request that all the board members bring in proof of residency to give the community the trust that we have from them. I don't know if it's rumor or what it is, but we need to squash it before it gets out of hand. So just because of that, I have tonight brought my proof of residency, and I will hand this over to the secretary. And we do have to register our addresses with Kern County on the 15th of this month. So we need to have everybody bring in a proof of residency before the 14th. So, sorry I have to do that, but as president, it is my duty. And with that, I will end the communications. And do we have anything from the public?
No, we do not.
Can I make mention, I just want to say one more thing.
Yes.
I did notice all the incidents and suspensions went way down at Tropico. Good job, Mr. Chaplin. It takes a village, but I was like, wow.
We're getting there.
Good job.
That's why maybe we'll get that attendance award.
Maybe we should create another award for something else, right? Your mother award.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Does anybody have any on A through K, any questions on any of the approval stuff?
No, I don't. So we are going to Universal Studios for Grad Bash. Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Hepburn, seconded by Vincelette. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. In accordance with Education Code Section 35-143, the annual Board of Trustees organizational meeting calendar was board approved on December 15th, 2021, to be held on December 14th, 2022. And that's just informational, so Ms. Gaines, do you want to?
The only thing I would add to that, Mr. President, is that on December 14th of 2022, we will set the date for 2023.
Approve removal of the no F policy, administration regulation for policy 61 for 45 for extracurricular activities. Ms. Gaines, could you give us a brief on that?
Yes. Last year, the board voted to temporarily suspend the no F policy. What that policy basically stated was any student at Tropico Middle School or Roseland High School that they, regardless of their grade point average, even if it was 3 point or above, if they had 1 F, they were not eligible for extracurricular activities or co-curricular activities such as sports. The time is up for that, and due to the fact that we have sort of mixed opinions on the board, some of the board members would like to see the F policy disappear altogether, and some of the board members feel that it is important to keep the no F policy. It is on the board agenda this evening as an action item.
Does anybody want to open for discussion?
I will. I have, being with Jim Bender, Jim Benish was going to be here tonight. This is his request. But I don't support the no F policy. And the reason is because there are issues. A lot of the kids, we've also got issues now with kids who are, getting sick because what's going on out there and so forth. We also have kids who have to work, take care of a family. They sometimes fall behind. And I think we got to come up with a different way of doing business with the kids and their grades. And I happened to talk to a assistant coach Monday night, and he agrees that we allowed the mentoring, the coaches, going after getting the grades on the weekend so that they can start working with the kids to get those grades up. And I think that might be a better way. It doesn't mean that we can't revisit this at a later date as far as putting it back if it has to, but I know where I stand and where I want to go with it, so.
So are you saying that we should put in a possible mentorship or mentor situation if there is a student that has an F that wants to participate in extracurricular or co-curricular activities?
Not just enough, it could be, they're struggling, and a lot of coaches know it and see it. So I'm looking at it as an overall. We're here to keep these kids in school. We're here to allow these kids to participate in the extra activities that we offer. And it's, and it doesn't mean, you've got other things. You got the clubs in here as well.
And they're not able to participate in clubs if
They
there's
would
F?
not be able to.
They can actually participate in a club, but they cannot go in a off-campus.
Yeah. This is like the kids can practice, but they can't play the game. We've seen that.
The way it's written in the policy, and I'll be honest, I was on that committee that wrote that policy. The CIF requires a 1.5 GPA. And it doesn't matter how many Fs they have. 1.5.
No, it's
I-
2.2.
2.0.
What?
2.0.
Do they change it to 2.0?
Sorry.
Because it was a 1.5 when we put this in there.
No, it's, sorry,
We have
it's currently
a
2.0.
2.0 and no Fs.
Right.
And that is our policy. Right, and that was because of COVID. We had a lot of kids that struggled on online learning. So it wasn't fair to keep those kids who struggled because they didn't have a teacher in front of them. So we suspended it for a year so they could get their stuff going again. The way that policy was written, and this policy has been in effect for, what year did it go in? It's been at least 7, 8 years. It's been on there for a long
I
time.
think I remember
Atkinson's, was still here, yes.
That's a long time.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. And
2012 maybe?
10 years.
10 years. The idea behind it is we want kids to participate in sports. But those who participate in sports, we can't let their grades drop and, graduate them as athletes if they can't even make the minimum grade to get into a college. So we would be doing them a disservice by getting rid of that F policy. Because an athlete that truly, truly loves to play will bring his grades up to a D if he has to, so he can play. And to me, I think the coach himself is the one that needs to make sure, or the kids, they know that if they get an F, they can't play anymore. So they can go to their coach and say, hey, coach, I'm failing this subject. Can you figure out how to help me out? And the coach will do it. They'll contact the teacher who's failing the student and bring that student, whatever mentoring they need to get them to get that F away from them. So I really strongly feel that we need to keep that policy in place. I know there's people who want to get rid of it because they say it's not fair to have a kid who has struggled in one class and yet still has 2.0, but they failed one class. Well, why are they failing the class? We need to find out what that is. Not say, oh, it's okay. No, let's find out why. Let's get that fixed rather than let them escape.
But what if it's not a sport?
What do you mean?
What if they're in a club and there's a trip and they're failing in a class for some reason? Let's say they have all A's and they hate photography. Who knows? Who knows the situation? They participated in this club all year and it's this big trip and they can't go.
Well, then they should have talked to somebody, and this did happen with the band kid.
So they can't go on band
They
trips.
could not go march in a parade. And parents came before the board and requested them to be able to march. Yeah, it's in our policy. Now let's figure out why this kid is failing. Of all things, it was failing PE. And she didn't want to dress up. But if they'd applied for, because march band gives a waiver, the same as ROTC is for sports as a PE class. So, once we transferred them over, got them through the end of the semester, they were eligible to march band.
So you have to take them out of that class,
No,
get a waiver.
well, they were able to get another class that they wanted for that period. And because marching band is considered a PE, it is. So is ROTC, or now it's Cadet Corps. That is also a PE type schedule class, just like a PE class is. And if you are an athlete, you can use the practice of sports as your PE. So we gotta find out why the F is there rather than just saying no. So that's my take on it. So, you want to bring that?
I'll bring it, I'll go ahead and motion that we approve.
Okay, motion by Vincent. You can second it and vote either way.
I feel like I want to do like more research. Can we, are we able to table?
Sure.
Yeah, we could.
I want to table it. I would like to have a deeper discussion on this. Are we able to, so it being tabled, does the policy go back into effect or does it still stay on hold?
It stays on hold until we vote.
I feel comfortable. I feel better. Is that okay?
We can table it.
Okay.
So then I'll change it to, we'll table it.
Okay, so I have a first and a second to table this action. Can we put it on for the next board meeting?
Would it be the 14th or would it be January?
14th.
14th. Okay.
Because I don't want to
I know.
keep pushing it out
I
until we make it through the year. Okay, all in favor of tabling?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion by Hepburn, seconded by Vincent for a table. Okay, approved memorandum of understanding, MOU, between the Southern Kern Unified School District and the California Employees Association. It's Roseman's chapter 587, to confirm the classified salary schedule for the 22-23 school year. Ms. Gaines.
Yes, sir. This is the, at the time that we negotiated with CSEA, we settled with CSEA last August, was it, Robert? Something like that. But, yeah. We settled with them for 4% on salary schedule and 3% off salary schedule. As Mr. Irving mentioned, they will be getting their 3% off on the 10th of this month. However, they have a Me Too clause. And so this MOU basically covers the additional 4% that CSEA classified employees will be receiving should the board approve the TA that we came to an agreement with RTA.
Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
Motion by Hepburn, seconded by Vincelette. All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. I said aye, by the way. Approved date to administrative regulation 3350 traveling expenses. Mr. Irving?
Alrighty. So this update to the travel expense would update item 4A in the administrative regulation to increase the full day rate and half day rate for per diem up from the current $50 for a full day to $70 a full day and $45 for a half day, up from $30 for a half day that it currently is. The last time the AR was updated was 2015. So in the meantime, the price of goods and services has gone up a little bit. So this addresses the rising costs so that, the per diem will, cover the day more or less. The rate is based off of looking up both Sacramento and San Diego, as those are two prominent areas that if we have people leaving the district, they're going down south to San Diego or up to Sacramento. And this rate addresses both what the DSA has in place for travel for this year for both cities.
Motion from?
I'll motion.
Motion from Vincelette, seconded by Hepburn. All in favor?
Aye.
Approve Southern Current Unified School District disclosure of collective bargaining agreement in accordance to AB 1200, statute of 1991, chapter 1213, and GC 3547-5, Roseman's Teachers Association. Mr. Irving.
All right, so per statute, as a public entity, we have to make a financial disclosure of the cost of bargaining. So this AB 1200 form is in regards to the tentative agreement that we have with RTA. Let me pull up my notes. So the cost of the on-schedule and off-schedule raises included in the tentative agreement is $1.67 million for the year to address both the updates on step and column increase, the base rate, master's longevity stipends, as well as the 3% off schedule. So this is just a disclosure of, that we're making public what the cost of everything is. There's no impact to the budget with revisions to our LCAP. The cost of this is, been built into that. So
Make a motion to approve?
I'll second.
Motion by Hepburn, seconded by Vincelette. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved tentative agreement between Southern Current Unified School District and the Roseman Teachers Association collective bargaining agreement for the January 1st, 2021. That's correct.
July first.
On July first. June 30th of 2024. Okay, those numbers sound weird. Ms. Gaines?
Yes. Well, July 1st is the first day of the new
Right, but
fiscal.
why is it dated back to 21? That's last year.
Yes, it goes retro. We didn't have a contract that, our contract ended June 30th, so it goes retro to July 1st.
But that's 21, not 22.
Okay, is that a typo, Robert?
Yes.
That's a typo.
Okay, thank you. Now I feel better.
So that is our, we're in the middle of a 3-year contract, that, those dates are for the full contract.
Oh,
So
for the
this year
3-year
is just a-
contract.
Okay,
A reopen.
thank
Does
you,
that make sense?
thank you.
Thank you,
Okay,
Tyler.
I thought, so it's back.
No.
So it's still the same contract, we're just updating.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
So moved.
I feel better now.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay.
Don't you want to-
No.
Okay, good.
Good.
Who made the first?
Motion by Vincelette, seconded by Pepper.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approve 2022, 2023 classified salary schedule, 4% increase with 2022, 23 classified administration, classified management salary schedule of 8% for 2022, 23 confidential and supervisory salary schedule of 8%. That's too many percents. Mr. Irving.
Alrighty, so this, following the TA, the 4% for classified is in addition to the 4% we already negotiated for them, or with them earlier this year. So an additional 4% will bring them up to 8%. Certificated administration and classified management and confidential staff have not had any pay increases this year, so the additional 8% for them would bring them in line with the tentative agreement with RTA as well.
Okay.
So moved.
Motion by Vincelette,
Second that.
seconded by Hepburn. All in favor?
Aye.
Confirm the tentative agreement, one-time off-schedule payment of 3% applied to administrative management and confidential, consistent with the Me Too clause as listed in the bargaining agreement. Mr. Irving.
Alrighty, so for administrative management and confidential staff, there's no bargaining unit for those members, so this is just really just a reaffirmation that the off-schedule agreement and the tentative agreement with RTA and previously negotiated with CSEA is applicable to those employees as well.
So in other words, make it equal all the way across the board so everybody gets the same.
Yes.
Okay. So that makes it a little easier for everybody to understand. So your
So
motion by Vincelette, seconded by Hepburn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approve authorization to issue a one-time 3% off-schedule payment of $5,313.51 for the superintendent Barbara Gaines based on the 2022, 2023 annual salary. And we figure the superintendent should get the same thing as everybody else.
so moved.
And
I
you
didn't
just,
even know that was on there until you told me.
yeah, that was me.
Surprise.
15 grandkids, thank you.
You missed it, it's 17.
17?
Yeah.
Okay.
Competition.
Yeah, my own district, you can get those going. Okay. Motion by Vincelette, seconded by Hepburn, all in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. approve resolution 2023-10, impound of local tax revenue and anticipated pending claims and or litigation. Mr. Irving.
All right, so this is an annual resolution just that for any outstanding liability that there may be with property tax revenues, that we will, pending approval, will authorize the county treasurer or county auditor's office, to hold on to part of our property tax that is in dispute. Kern County Superintendent of Schools' recommendation is to if a resolution is passed, to send a letter to the auditor's office so that the required taxes are impounded in April and May, so that it does not have a negative impact on the district's cash flow during the year. It'll happen at the end of the year, and that all interest that accrues on the funds be deposited back into the district's general fund. This year, the contingent tax liability is $1,019,000.
Basically, if somebody can test the property taxes that they're getting and it has to be resolved and that money can be used for that, correct?
Yes, so the money sits in an impound account. In the meantime, waiting the outcome of it, goes back to the taxpayer, or it comes back to the district.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion from Hopkins, seconded by Vincent. All in favor?
Aye.
The ayes. Approve Southern Kern Unified School District voice over IP phone system installation, RFP number 2022-02, either Irving or Westler.
You want me to take it or you want to take it?
I'll go. So we have an antiquated phone and PA system at Alt Ed at Rare Earth, same as at the high school, same as at West Park. So we have ESSER funding to update those phone systems and PA systems. So we want to start at Rare Earth. So this is a cabling project. They would run 16 Cat 6A Ethernet cables to the 4 classrooms at Rare Earth and the office building and the NPR, and it involves a little bit of trenching. So they would do the cabling, and then we would do the installation of the phone system and the clock bell paging system. So this would basically replace an antiquated system with a new system.
All that stuff was put in 1964. It probably got put in 63 and then finally used in 64.
Something like that, yeah. But another thing too, with the voice over IP, correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, but there's also the capability, Nino, I think you mentioned this in our safety security, where he can be anywhere on campus and dial in and be able to use the PA system.
Yes, that's correct.
Will that also be part of where we need to send a banner to each of the teachers that we're having an exercise, or if it's a real world, so that way we're not, communicating through other ways? Is that also part of this?
Yeah, the software is called Single Wire Informacast. It's built on top of our Cisco phone system, and yes, they can send messages to those phones.
Okay. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because one time we're looking at radios. Well, this will supplant the radios, and the only people are going to see that on their computers are going to be the teachers, administrators, or whoever needs to have that whether we have a real world situation or it's an exercise. It's just how it comes up on that banner. And that was why we were able to abandon the idea of bringing in radios for each classroom. So this is going to work very well. And I'm going to move that we approve.
I'll second that.
Motion by Vincent, seconded by Hepburn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approve Phil Allen and Moody Architectural Service on master agreement job 2990. Mr. Irving.
Alrighty. This contract is for the design and drawing of the old East Campus at RES to to modernize it, I should say, for universal pre-K. We've been approved by the state, $2 million for modernization funds that, we have a year to start the project, and we need architectural drawings to get the ball rolling.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, we've been approved to modernize the old Roseman Elementary. The only caveat is that all the classrooms have to be 1,300 square feet. The classrooms there are only at 980. And they have to have an indoor bathroom in each classroom. So this will help rebuild the interior of all those classrooms with bathrooms, get the proper size that we need, and we can then have a pre-K program on the older campus. So we need to approve this to continue the work we've been doing.
Move to accept.
Motion by Vincelette, seconded by Hepburn. All in favor?
Aye.
Approve the following list of personnel. Does anybody have any questions on personnel?
No, I don't. I move that we approve.
Motion by Vincelette, seconded.
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. President, if I may interject for a second. With that action, the board has just approved the hiring of 2 new assistant principals. Greatly needed, much appreciated for Tropico Middle School, and I'd like to introduce them this evening. In no particular order, though, okay? You're both wonderful. First of all, we welcome back Mr. Scott Small to Southern Kern Unified School District.
Now you get to put up with me again.
Yes.
No, I've known him for a long time, especially dealing with sports. Anytime I would go to Mojave, he was always there. We like to pick on each other. If you remember with Larry Satterfield, remember all the fun that we used to have with him and rules? Okay.
You knew the book.
He bought me a lot of meals. Yes.
And also, we're sad to see Mrs. Atkinson leave the 6th grade, but we welcome her into administration. Ms. Carmen.
No running marathon.
And they will both now be in their acting positions. Well, Carmen will be there Thursday and Friday of this week, learning the ropes, and the 3 of them will be able to collaborate and put their plans in place, and hopefully HR is working. I know that is the goal of Mrs. Hargis and Mr. Irving, to make sure that there is a long-term sub, if not a permanent teacher, hopefully soon in your classroom. So welcome to both of you and congratulations.
I would like to make a motion.
I'll second it.
Motion by Hepburn, seconded by Vincelette. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
801.